Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now this video is about the truth of Rahu. Rahu is a planet which is actually the most misunderstood planet, I would say. Most of the times whenever I open YouTube, it's always about this curse of Rahu, that curse of Rahu. Rahu is doing this thing bad, that thing bad, it will doom you, it will do this, that. So I assumed that people actually do not know what is the actual meaning of Rahu. So that's why first and foremost thing is that you understand how your Rahu works. Okay, there are so many things that are to be considered with Rahu, that how to look for Rahu, how to judge the placement for Rahu, right? But today I wanted to talk about how Rahu is going to behave when it is conjunct a certain planet. I'm really sorry for all these noises because my home is actually at the very starting of the road. So it's like the main road is just outside my home. I hope these it's loud. I hope you guys are not hearing all of that and that's not disturbing the video, but still I'll just continue the shooting. Okay, so basically today we are going to talk about Rahu and how it is going to behave whenever it is going to conjunct another planet. Okay, so Rahu, first we need to know what does it mean. Rahu is a planet which is only the head. It doesn't have the body. That simply means that Rahu is all about what happens here and not what happens in actions. Because most of the people say Rahu will make you do this, will make you do that. You need to understand Rahu is just going to bring in the thoughts. It is going to bring in all that mischievousness within your mind. But unless it is being influenced by other malefic, other action-oriented planets, it is not going to do anything. That's why Rahu is more about the internet, about today's world, that how a person is an innovator. There are good ideas with Rahu. There are very, out of the box ideas with Rahu. Okay, so you need to see whenever Rahu is conjunct with any planet, it actually starts behaving like that planet. It actually increases the energy of that particular planet. That's why the result varies. Now what we'll do is we'll go from one planet to another and we'll talk about how Rahu is going to behave with certain planet. So first of all, Rahu and Sun conjunction. So whenever a person has Sun and Rahu conjunction, first of all, what is Sun? Sun is your personality. Sun is your self-esteem. It's your ego. It's how you represent yourself. And it's also your father. So Sun Rahu conjunction is actually going to show you a lot of things about your father or about your anyone who acts like a father to you, right? But on your level, it is going to affect in this way that your personality will be overblown. With Sun Rahu conjunction, a person is more about me, myself. So these people can actually be a little sort of narcissists because these people actually think a lot about themselves. They might not consider whatever problem the other person is going through because these people are so self-absorbed. Because see, it's Sun, it's your personality, and it's Rahu. Rahu is just increasing the qualities of Sun. So the person with Sun and Rahu conjunction, they'll always want or they'll always desire the ample amount of respect and recognition, and if they don't get that, they might just lash out. Okay, so that's why you'll see people who wish to have maximum amount of attention, maximum amount of fame and recognition, but if they don't get it, They can just be totally opposite to you. They can just feel very negative about you. But yes, with Sun and Rahu conjunction, howsoever a person is doing well for other person, they might not get equally reciprocated or respected with Rahu and Sun conjunction. Because one thing you need to know with Rahu is the black spot. So whenever Rahu is conjunct with a planet, it afflicts that. It creates negative situations with that. Right? So that's why Rahu being conjunct with any planet, it will destroy the significance of that planet to some extent. So Sun is about being appreciated, being dependable. Right? So you'll see Sun Rahu conjunction people, although they are very, very dependable, they act like a king, they take care of everyone, but there will be a cost. There will be a cost that they want to be appreciated equally. If they don't, they might not even look at you. Okay? And since Sun is also show-offy nature, it's also boastfulness. With Sun Rahu conjunction, people boast a lot. They somehow try to project a certain image within the public, which is actually not there. Okay, now with Sun and Moon conjunction, Moon is about emotions. Now here, what happens, actually I'll make another video for this, that how to judge Rahu, right? How to judge the placement of Rahu. Because always remember that you need to see Rahu first and foremost from the moon, because Rahu and Ketu are actually the nodes of the moon. Okay, so that's why Moon and Rahu conjunction, what happens there is, Moon is actually a planet of emotions. It is the planet of your happiness, your peace, where you feel peaceful, where you feel comfortable, how your reaction is going to be to the world, to the circumstances. So whenever Rahu is conjunct Moon, that means there is amplification of emotions. A person is too self-absorbed emotionally. Their emotions are so high that they might overshadow the emotions of others. And suppose this conjunction is happening in the water signs, then it can actually create deep trauma for an individual. It can actually be more malefic in water signs, Rahu and Moon conjunction, than any other sign. Because people who act out of emotions without even giving it a thought, that's Moon Rahu conjunction in water signs. So you need to predict according to everything. You need to add it all. You need to add the conjunction, you need to add the placement, you need to add the element. Okay? So that's why Moon and Rahu people can be very self-absorbed emotionally. Their peace of mind is not there. All the time they're just thinking. Something or the other is just going around within their head. So that's why Moon and Rahu conjunction can disturb sleep for people. There are chances that such a person cannot sleep in one go. They have to wake up middle of the night, getting up, thinking something, dreaming something. With Rahu and Moon conjunction, I've also seen people experiencing frequent dreams. Okay, so with Rahu and Moon conjunction, a person can also be very selfish, because since they are very self-absorbed emotionally, that's why most of the attention is within themselves. They might not even look towards the other person's emotions at times. They'll find a hard time to deal with that also. Okay, and they want nourishment, they want to be nourished, because it is increasing the qualities of Moon. Moon is comforts, Moon is nourishment, Moon is happiness. So these people want more and more of that. So suppose a person with no conjunction with Moon has that happiness and comfort, they will feel enough, But the same amount of comforts and happiness is given to the Moon Rahu conjunction person. He might not even feel satisfied with that. Okay? So now we'll talk about Rahu and Jupiter, right? So Jupiter is the planet of wisdom. It is the planet of a guru. So when you have Jupiter and Rahu conjunction, what happens? The qualities of Jupiter increases. Since Jupiter is optimism, there are fair chances that a person becomes carefree. They are so optimistic that they just become carefree. And since Jupiter is about your wisdom, it's about how much knowledge do you have, and Jupiter is also a rigid master. That's why with Jupiter Rahu conjunction, a person may feel that they know it all. That's why they are not very open to the suggestions from other people, although they themselves will go out, find things, gather their wisdom, and do things on their own. These are usually, people call it as Guru Chandal Yoga. But it's simply, you don't need a yoga to understand a conjunction. Just understand it on its own. Okay, here's the conjunction, here's the nature of two planets, these are coming together. What is going to be the result? Okay, and also since Jupiter is a fiery planet, it is a fiery element, it's all about what to do, what is right, what is wrong. These people can be fighters, people who are fighting for the betterment of someone else, of society at large. Okay, so these things come in with Rahu and Jupiter. With Rahu and Jupiter, it's like increase in the qualities of Jupiter. Jupiter is all over there. Since Jupiter is expansion and Rahu is explosion, so suddenly they can face boom in their life. Suddenly they can get fortune. Okay, suddenly they just have that luck overblown within their life, and suddenly they can just go on the opposite side also. So that's why Rahu is a tricky energy, because it makes sudden events happen. Okay, the next conjunction would be Rahu and Venus. Now Venus is actually, it's not just the planet of luxury. What do you mean by luxury? First you need to answer that. First you need to ask yourself that. Luxury could be, suppose I am a person who has a very normal phone, right? I have a normal, less expensive phone. So an iPhone is going to be a luxury for me. But for some people, iPhone may not be luxury. Although I also have a good Venus and they also have a good Venus. So luxury is actually depends on what do you feel, that what is comfort for you. Suppose I have a apartment, but a villa or a penthouse is going to be luxury for me. But for someone who have a rental space, for them an apartment is going to be luxury, right? So that's why Venus is our desire. Venus is how much luxury do we desire, how much comforts do we desire. It's about relationships, it's about devotion. Because when you are in a relationship, you devote your time within that relationship, right? So Rahu Venus conjunction, it actually creates that desire to have relationship, to have that devotion, to have romance, luxury and comfort in life. Okay, so with Rahu Venus conjunction, what happens is a person becomes very much interested into having all the luxuries in the life. Since Venus is diplomacy, just like Moon, it is diplomacy, it is manipulation, it is devotion, it's also healing. This is one factor we all forget about Venus. Venus is an element of healing. You will see Venus to be very prominent in the charts of doctors, surgeons, because Venus is about healing. And also the healers, we have different healers, they also have Venus to be very prominent. Okay, so Rahu Venus can actually make a person extremely clever, because these are the two asuras. Now the asura Rahu is with its teacher. So these people are extremely intelligent, extremely clever, where a person might fight to get their things done. These people will just find their way out like a snake to convince everyone to do what they want. So that's why they are highly manipulative people. And these people, although they spend a lot on luxury, they want all the finer objects, but when it's about spending for someone else, then they suddenly become extremely miser. You'll see that with Rahu Venus conjunction. And these people have no boundaries when it's about experiencing luxury and having a good lifestyle. That's because the Venus rules the second house. Second house is about your lifestyle. These people would love to have a good lifestyle. Okay, and you know what? Always I've seen people saying with Venus and Rahu conjunction, they betray their spouses and they want to have n number of relationships. But you will see with Venus and Rahu conjunction, people do follow into different relationships in the beginning of their life. But once they mature, they become the most spiritual individuals. I've seen that. Somehow they'll just out of these relationships, because they have their karma with Venus, with Venusian things. You need to understand whichever planet Rahu is going to conjunct, Rahu is going to have the karma related to that planet. That's why Rahu is attracting you towards those areas. So that's why with Venus Rahu conjunction, these people have karma with relationships. They have karma with luxury, money, lifestyle. That's why at a certain point, these people realize that that's not what life is about. That's not the highest self of their life. And they try to grow spiritually in their life. Rahu and Saturn conjunction. Now, you know, there's a reason why people call Rahu and Saturn conjunction people as naive people. Why they are so innocent. What is the quality of Saturn? Saturn is about, I won't say dedication, it's about discipline. Mars is also about discipline, okay? You need to understand that both of them are discipline, but Mars is about more, discipline towards your work and everything. Saturn is about more, it's more about organization. How organized are you? How devoted are you? How dedicated are you towards whatever you're trying to do? Okay, so Saturn is also a law-abiding planet. It wants everything to be fair. It is impartial. So that's why with Saturn and Rahu conjunction, you'll see people who are extremely brutally honest. They're just so naive that they just say it all. And the other thing is, these people are very law-abiding. You'll see people who are very careful about not breaking laws, not doing anything, where they can get caught. It's actually, Saturn is about fear. It's about fearing. And Rahu somehow is also about fear. So what happens that with Rahu Saturn conjunction, it's like double the amount of fear. So these people are so fearful that they don't want to do anything like that, because of which they get caught and they have to face any circumstances. Okay? So that's why they try to be more organized. They try to be more disciplined with everything. They try to work hard. And of course, since Saturn is hard work, a person requires to work very hard, because Rahu here is increasing the qualities of Saturn. They are required to work very hard so as to gain wealth and money, wealth, recognition, career, anything. But these people, since Saturn is the natural karka of the 10th house, these people can get a lot confused within the beginning of their life, within the, at their adulthood, in the beginning of their adulthood, so as to what to do, which path to follow, which career to follow. But they must always take up a career which has, which is ethical. The more ethical they are, the more fruitful this conjunction is going to be. Okay, now the next conjunction is going to be Rahu and Mars. Now this is actually a tricky conjunction. Rahu is about the thoughts, it's about the head. Mars is about the battlefield, it's about the actions where you use your hands or you use your weapons. So Rahu now increases the energy of Mars. This can be a violent conjunction. But do you know, there's a slight difference between Rahu Mars conjunction and Ketu Mars conjunction. Ketu Mars is more violent because it's action oriented planet plus the body planet. So what happens with Mars and Rahu conjunction? A person gets the thoughts that this should be done or that all that mirage or illusion that is created by Rahu, and Mars has that energy to make that happen. So you'll see, since Mars is an energy, it's a humanitarian energy. You'll always see it's a protective energy. Mars is about protection. Mars is about battlefield, fight for what is right. Mars is humanitarian. So what happens, you'll see Mars and Rahu conjunction people, they are extremely protective over whosoever they love. They will fight for whoever they feel that they should. But these people, I have generally observed one thing with Mars and Rahu conjunction, that these people are the people who will build it up in their mind a lot. Suppose they get hurt, they're not going to lash out instantly. They're going to keep it inside. They're going to build that. And when the jar is full, that is the time they lash out. And that is actually destructive. And even I have seen people with Rahu Mars conjunction, sometimes they can be very blindfolded. Because Mars is about providing. And since Rahu increases its energy, and Rahu is like, it is keeping a blindfold to a person, and the person is all about, I have to provide, without even seeing the circumstances, without even seeing that, does that person requires my provision? Do they require that? They just want to do that, regardless of analyzing the situation. So that's what Rahu Mars does. Rahu Mars individual must be involved in physical activities, especially some sort of sports, gymming, because Mars is a planet of energy. Rahu is the amplification of energy. There's so much energy in the head. There's so much energy in the mind of a person. So that has to be executed, otherwise it can dive a person into a lot of thinking, okay, and a lot of frustration. Right now, lastly, we have Rahu and Mercury conjunction. Now this is one of the conjunction that is considered to be problematic with one's nervous system, because Mercury, whenever Mercury is afflicted, either a person gets anxiety or a person gets nervous disorder or depression. Because what happens, Mercury is your intelligence, it's your intellect, it's how you think and how you communicate. So of course, with Rahu and Mercury conjunction, people can lie a lot. But Mercury is also about observing things. You know, people with influence of Mercury, they have an eye of an eagle. They can observe so many things and they won't even tell you. So with Mercury, a person is very conscious also, very careful. With prominent Mercury, you'll see very careful people. I won't say responsible. Responsible is to be seen with other planets, but Mercury is about being careful. So with Rahu, what happens, a person is very observant. They are going to observe those details which other people might not, because of which their intellect gets affected, their peace of mind gets affected. And since Rahu is afflicting Mercury, it is creating that nervous disorder also. That's why it happens to be anxiety. Suppose with Mercury Rahu conjunction, you'll also see people who are very, very careful with their documentations. But of course, they have karma with documents, since Mercury is documents. That's why they will get problems related to that, but they'll be very careful with all of their documents and everything related to Mercury. You'll also see these people are very paranoid, mostly paranoid, fearful, and most of the times actually they are paranoid, but extremely clever, extremely intelligent. You don't even need to complete your sentence and these people will know what you're trying to say. Okay, and these people are very conscious of how they look. They want to look younger. Even though they are old, they want to look the finest of all. They want to get all the attention and praises. And they feel very comfortable with people who are younger to them. Okay guys, so this was my analysis on Rahu with different planets. I hope it was helpful. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com, and under the reading section, it's actually consultation section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And if you are a learner of astrology or you want to know about other things which are not part of the regular astrology, you can check out the unique reading section. There you'll get other readings like Tribhagi, Nakshatra analysis, all of that stuff. And if you guys wish to learn astrology from me, you can check out the same link, www.anmollastrology.com, and under the course section you can reach out to me so as to know the framework and prices of the course. Okay guys, we'll see you next time with a good video. Okay, bye bye, take care.